OhMyGo everyone, nice to see you here. So as you can imagine, one of the toughest things when doing videos is to have some kind of inspiration, to show something interesting, to have an idea, which very often you don't have. And at that point, what you can do is to find the inspiration elsewhere, to rob it. And from whom is it better to rob than to rob it from Rob? So today, we will be looking at some tesujis from professional games that I found in this Go Vějíř group that posted our famous friend Rob van Zeist. So I hope you enjoy this video. There will be 4 games that we will go through very quickly. So this is a game between Ueno Risa and Choi Jong. So Choi is the strongest female player, I believe. And I just want to show you her fuseki, because in this game it's pretty damn cool. So first of all, black starts by flying here, just peeping and, you know, trying to settle in this area. I like this move, I personally play it quite often. White answers actively, black enters, white pincers. So now, black just jumps, okay, there is a sequence, and then invades. So white tries to be strict and put pressure on black as well, but black just peeps. Then jumps into the corner, lives there, white collects the bottom left corner, black cuts and squeezes, and after the squeeze, what is the vital point? The shoulder hit on this Kosumi, and black creates this framework. So I think it's quite a cool sequence, like, you know, you throw some stones around, you live, you make a moyo, like black is playing a very nice game. So, before going to the actual tesuji, I want to speak about this situation a little. So, usually here, white can attach and split these stones. It's one of the ways on how to play. But perhaps in this variation, this guy is too close now. So that's why white didn't want to do this. So he could kick, but then there is some edges, so he should protect and black would just settle here. It's even variation. But in our game, white decided to pincer, which is possible. And now Katago is showing me quite a cool move here. So you can try to take a look at it yourself. Like, how would you continue? So the move it's showing is this tesuji attachment from behind. So how are you feeling if you are this guy? Like, you must really not understand the situation. First he tries to fly away, then he tries to settle root on the left, then he attaches from behind. But it's a very good sacrificing technique. If white just splits, which looks natural, then black also splits white, and it's quite painful, like white is heavy and these stones are weak. So this is a bad result already. So white can play here, but then black attaches, and by inserting this cut, white has to protect, and black can make this ponuki, and I mean, black settled really nicely, no, in center, so I like this variation, but it's even, like, you can play this way. And so if you want to be really strict, you can play this hane, but black will cut, and now there are like thousands of variations. So the simpler one is like white tries to make this stone heavy, but you can cut, and you can atari, and suddenly white has to take, and you can take. And you manage to split the corner enclosure and create a weak group for white. Of course you lost a bit here, but actually you can still squeeze, so it's not that horrible. So something like this is also an even variation, more or less, but yeah. Anyway, nice move. So let's get to the actual tesuji. So this is the position, and it's endgame. And if white plays this hane, and black will connect, white is behind by like 4.5, 5 points, something like this, an insurmountable amount. So white has to try and find the tesuji somewhere, and I will try to hint you where. Yeah, it's in this area. Here. So you can try to take a look and maybe you will find it. So the key here is to start with asking a question. And it is this cut. So what does it do? If you can just capture it, then white will play this Atari and play this Atari, and he can then break into your territory and win the game because you lose too much. So there is a like a lack of liberties here for black. So okay, so black can just play here, white will capture, but you gained quite a lot. Funny enough, I think in this constellation, because black gained center, black still wins this game by a tiny margin. But yeah, so you don't want that to happen, so you just extend, right? Because it protects this area, and here you have one extra liberty. So like, what can you do? And that's what I'm asking you. What can you do? There is a hidden tesuji that is maybe not so hard to find when you know there is a tesuji. And it is this move. It's kind of making miai of underconnecting and perhaps doing some shenanigans on the bottom. So of course, if you just capture and white connect, it's a great success, right? So black can resist, but now what? So if you try to increase your liberties like this, you will lose not enough liberties. So maybe you don't play here, but you play this kosumi in order to make this ko. It's a very good idea, because black cannot play here now. Basically this stone is adding a liberty, since we can't play this, so therefore it can be a ko. But actually, if you play it in this order, this empty triangle will take your joy away, because you will still die. So actually the correct move is after this peep to play this hane directly. And this way the ko is forced, and actually, maybe by chance, white has a lot of ko threads in this game. So this ko is not playable for black. So what black had to do actually, because this tesuji is brilliant, he had to just capture this stone and squeeze it. But then of course it was a success for white. And it became a half-point game. And white won by half point. So Ueno, a really great victory against Choi. So yeah, this was the first game. Okay, so for the second game, it's a Korean game again, and we will be watching what white will do now. So basically, this is a joseki that has been played, and in theory, black has quite a weakness. Like, he can play this extension. And if the ladder works for white, it can be a bit painful if something like this happens. These stones are dying, these are weak, and since these guys are weak, these guys get stronger. You know the feeling. So white actually had quite a niche idea to play this attachment and to try to break the ladder. If you protect it, I gain moves here. If you don't protect it, I will extend. But black just accepted it. Okay, this was center, and after this extension, black didn't protect, but still pushed. So this is local minus for white. And now, since the ladder is broken, white can extend. So first, black plays these two exchanges. They are more or less center, because if white doesn't answer, he will suffer a lot. Black will become very thick and build this right potential. So white just answers. But also because, like, the ladder is working for white, so he's not afraid, right? But now you have to think on how to solve the situation if you were black. So I think it's not so difficult. Top European players would probably play this way, but you can try to find a variation yourself. So I'll go ahead and show it now. So black will play this Atari, and now this Geta. It feels natural. So white extends, and I can imagine some players just like sacrificing these 4 stones and be like whatever. But actually it's not really whatever, because this group was supposed to be weak. And now it's connected and you have cuts and cuts. It's not very good. It's playable, it's like -5, but you can do better. And what is better? It's to save the stones. But then you don't have a move here, so white will go away, but you can squeeze him. And again, you could like sacrifice these stones, but it feels like it's quite a lot of points. So actually what Kim does is that she plays this Geta. So there is double Atari, or this Atari even, but so what? We can squeeze, And even though white manages to split black, black is basically alive here, and white made a minus here and a big gambit. So, of course, this is not very good for white. It's not terrible, like the groups are still, you need to take care of them, but black is now ahead. So it was very nice variation from Kim Eun-ji. Unfortunately, she ended up losing this game, I think, but that's a different story. So let's move to the third tesuji. And this game is between two top Korean players. And before going to the tesuji, we will also take a look at the fuseki because it's quite interesting. So first here, if you were white, how would you settle this group? So I think you can think of something like this. It's a bit slow, but you live on the spot. This wouldn't be bad. Unfortunately, black will probably extend and fight, and then it will not be very good. So what else can you do? So Byun was quite stylish here and attached and played this schema. Okay, I'm saying stylish, but actually he's just playing moves to take care of the group. This is nothing special, but it's not too bad. But Katago is showing a tesuji that Christian Pop is famous for playing, and it is this wedge. Because if you play from this side, white has a very good cut from the other side, so you can't really do this. So you have to play defensively. And if you connect on top, like, white just settled with a lot of points and there is still a peep, it looks annoying, so this is also not the way. So black has to connect here, but then white can cut and extend, and this is quite an open fight actually. Maybe white can attach here now, or he can pressure on black. Like, it's a fight, but it's playable fight. So if you want to be really, strict, not let your opponent rest, this would be the way. Very rarely you can see this move, but maybe not as rarely as one would think, because AI is showing it quite often these days. Anyway, the game continued peacefully, and white attached here. Of course, this is a very simple idea. It's like, okay, I already made you strong here, so now I'm going to try to over-concentrate you. But black just plays this hane and tenukis. Peeps here. And next move is quite a nice tesuji that I have seen Pavol Lisi played quite often. And it's like, yeah, these guys, they could live here, but actually now that I gained some aji, I will use it to live on the top side. So he attaches, then plays this hane, which is now sente, and can play this kosumitsuke, thanks to which he manages, after playing quite a precise sequence, he manages to live locally. Maybe if you take a look at it, you would be like, but this must be bad, no? Like, okay, he destroyed some points, but it was in Gote, he lost some endgame, and white is actually quite thick and has sente, it's very important. But actually, these pros, when they see a lot of stuff, and actually this corner, it's not finished yet. Like, black can play this Kosumi, it's sente for this cut, and then descend, and he can still steal the corner. So basically, he managed to live here, and still has the aji, like 50-50, who gets here first. So it's playable, but still, it's not like spectacular. I don't like it that much now that I think about it. Okay, but why we are here is white's next move. So now it's white's turn to play, and let's not forget, black didn't answer this white move, and he would like to exploit this area. I think on Facebook, Rob said something along the lines that it's a tricky tesuji. It's quite maybe hard to see, but actually it's fairly common, and I agree with the description. Maybe a player like me could see it in a game. Perhaps it's worth pausing the video so that you see it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show it. White played this hane. So of course this is sente, because if you play elsewhere and white divides here, you are dying on left and on right. It's also losing a lot of points, so black has to answer. Now white cuts and plays this atari. But okay, perhaps like, is this really enough? I still have to connect, not many liberties here. But this is not the point, actually. After this Atari, thanks to this exchange, white can go down. And you cannot cut, because it's captured. And now you have to take care of this group, but white managed to solve the group and leave. And also, of course, yeah, it looks like you broke through something with your fist, but actually you may be dying because this is still fake eye. So this is disaster, cannot be played. So yeah, what can you do? It's just working. Like, black answered locally, protected this problem, but then white played this Atari and blocked. And yeah, these three are just captured. So black played elsewhere and the game continued. So this may seem like a total disaster, but because black actually got stronger here and white played a bit defensively in this area, he managed to live, but black got center, lived in the corner, and the game is still playable. At the end, Bune managed to win this one, still, but it was still a fair fight. So yeah, this was Tesuji number 3, and let's go for the 4th one. So this is a game between two top Chinese players. This Tuo Jiashi I personally considered like world number 1 at a point. I thought he's really super strong. Not sure how he's doing now, but yeah, in this game he will show a Tesuji. So they play some ko here, and the ko, it ends up like black manages to win the ko and make a ponuki, which is great, but this corner is cut off and seems to be dying. But the game is not over if the corner is dead, because this is the only white territory basically, like these are not very strong and there is not many points here. So white still has to play, you know. So after some like finishing the sequence off, nada, yeah, this happened. White plays very, you know, forcefully also, like still trying very hard. And black prepares something in this area, answers here. Make this exchange in the corner. And now black will try to resurrect the corner group. And actually, the sequence he prepared is very strong. Black first asked this question, how are you going to answer this peep? So as I was saying, white has still to play, so he answers actively. But then black plays this liberty-taking move, and it's actually sente, because if white just answers, black can take, white has to kill, right? Otherwise this would be an eye. But then, if you take a look, this group is also dead, so, and white would die first, or it would be second, I don't know. It's terrible for white, unplayable. So, actually, white has to connect here, but then black took a key liberty. So he can push, connect, and cut. Now this is a problem, because these whites, they don't have many liberties. For instance, if you just play this Atari, like throw in Atari, and you cannot connect. So white has to add the liberties, but black plays here, and white cannot extend, because still not enough liberties. So he plays this take. Then black plays this hane. And if you are a strong player and haven't seen this in your Facebook posts, you can try to think now and imagine how to solve this as white, because it looks terrible. I will still show 2 more moves, or a few moves, so it's easier maybe for Q players. White plays this Atari and connects. And now, if you are white and your opponent is staring down at you, asking you to resign, show him your resourcefulness. So let's go through the variations. If you just extend, this is sente, and now there is a ko. And as I was saying, apart from this corner, the situation is very good for black. So white doesn't have ko threats, yeah, doesn't have anything. So this is game over, white cannot win this way. Alright, so you can play here, right? Seems it's working, but black will capture and play this Atari. And still this ko is very hard for white to play, especially because black has some ko threats in this area. So this is also not playable. So you can play this Atari and then play here, but black will block, and if you try to win the semi, you are just too short. It's some kind of call again. So this is also not possible. So there are not many moves left to try. So I guess you have already spotted the vital point. It's to play T11. It's quite an incredible move, because if black disconnects, okay, maybe you live here because I cannot play this Atari, but you die here, so this is game over. So you cannot block, so you can extend, thinking to go back to this variation, but actually white can play here, and you still cannot play this. So now white managed to underconnect, and this is dead. Okay, so of course correct is just to take, but then white underconnects and has many more liberties. In fact, if black plays here, I think white can even tenuki, because if we try to play out the sequence, okay, I forgot to take, but anyway, you see it's one liberty extra for for white. So yeah, this tesuji works and really managed to kill the corner. Then the game is still not easy for white, because, I mean, what are these stones doing? But he plays forcefully, like attack is your best defense, and manages to somehow connect the groups, and this attachment was quite crazy, looking for some aji. Eventually he managed to live everywhere. It was still a close game, but he won in endgame, was ahead by 5. Alright, so today we robbed from Rob. In 2025, maybe if I will need some content, I can try to rob from 2024. Anyway, see you around, guys. Bye bye.